Hey everyone, it's Sarah, and I have the very last layout, which is layout number 4, using my Studio Calico Valley High kit. I pretty much only have scraps left, so I'm going to take a tip that I have seen two people do for sure. Nicole Jones 911 does this a lot, and I also saw Ashley Laura do this. They're both YouTubers here. And when they get down to scraps in their kits, they tend to do kind of a collage type thing with all of their leftovers. So I just used a 12 by 12 piece of white cardstock, which was in the kit. That was the only 12 by 12 piece I had left. And I'm taking all of my strips of papers and cardstock, and I'm just gonna kind of do, not really a pattern, but just lay them out on the 12 by 12 piece in rows and squares and things like that, and to kind of make my own background, if you will. So I'm going to try to have them not go all the way to the end. They're going to be a little bit shy of the ends of the 12 by 12. And I've never done this before, but I wanted to ever since I saw, other people do it. I thought, well, that's a really great idea and a great way to use up your scraps. And I love the way it turned out. It did take some time just to figure out where I wanted everything and which ones I wanted to use and all that stuff. But I really love the way it turned out. And then trying to get them all even also. But I love all the papers that came in this kit. The colors, the teals and the yellows and some pink and some text, and I really like it. It all went together really, really well. And I'm going to use that that lined paper there as my top, and that is the lines are teal, so I really like that paper as well. So I'm just going to kind of get everything lined up, and I have 2 4x6 pictures to use. I'm going to get everything lined up and placed down. Not straight the first time, apparently. And all the papers, they really coordinated really, really well together. Part of my head. Trying to make sure I get everything straight. And I like using, little tiny pieces like that just to kind of fill in little gaps and spaces. It adds more interest to it. And some of them, even though I had measured them beforehand, or I guess measured, eyeballed, but they still ended up being a little bit off, so I wasn't trying to be perfect, but I didn't want it to be, screaming in your face that it was off, so I just trimmed up a little bit as I put them down. And that's going to be my background. So I'm going to use this little piece of cardstock that I had cut out from the middle of my last layout, and I'm going to use that to map my photos. I need to map my photos to help the picture stand out from all the different colors going on in the background there. I'm trying to get it, that strip, the khaki strip down there that says, it says not a fan and it has a frowny face on it. That strip of paper gave me the idea to do this page, because Layla in that picture with her hands over her ears, we went to a hibachi restaurant, and that's how she reacted to it, literally. Like, they started the grill and she started crying, and then she spent the rest of the time with her hands over her ears because it scared her. And so when I saw that, little speech bubble that says not a fan, I thought, oh my gosh, I have these pictures of Layla at the hibachi restaurant, who was not a fan of the hibachi. So that's what gave me the idea to even do this page in the first place. So I want to make sure I'm going to have to try to line it up so that that piece of paper that says, the part that says not a fan is showing. And I'll adjust everything here soon. But that was my starting off point for this layout. So I have a few things from my stash here. Those two arrows, the big teal arrow and the paperclip arrow, those are both from Freckled Fawn. And I have a package of hearts there from Freckled Fawn as well. And the red tag is just from my stash. I got those from Studio Calico. And the picture frame and the little square that says take a picture, it will last longer. Those are from Basic Grade. Those are from the kit as well. So I'm lining this up so that the not a fan speech bubble right there shows. And it's going to kind of tie in with my title as well. I'm going to put my title down along that spot. And that lined paper is the back side of the advertisement from the kit. I can't remember if it's talking about the kit, like what's in the kit, or if it's an advertisement for an upcoming release. Oh, upcoming release. I just saw it. When they have a release, when Studio Calico has a release coming up, they will put a little reminder card in the kit saying, this release is coming up soon, make sure to check it out. And then usually the backside has some sort of either like a pattern paper design, or that one is just lined, almost look like lined paper. So I'm going to use that for my journaling. And I love that they put advertisements in the kit because it does remind you to look out for things, but it's also something you can use. It's almost like an added element that they throw into the kit there, and I love that. I'm going to end up layering those two arrows. It takes me a while to kind of figure out how to do it because when I get the paper clip onto the picture, it makes the picture stand up a little bit, and then the teal arrow doesn't lay flat. So I think I fuss with a little bit before I make up my mind. But my title is going to be Hibachi, and I'm going to line it up under there, that speech bubble that says not a fan from the paper. And I am using the wax paper trick that I used on my last layout that I talked about. And that just helps me to figure out where I want my title to go without having to put it down. So I can move it around the page and see where I want it to go and line it up the way that I want it to be. And I am going to use this pattern paper on the top and the bottom. So I'm just kind of seeing how long I want the strips to be. Because it kind of felt like I needed something more definitely on the bottom there. There's a little bit too much white space for me. And I only do it on the bottom. I was going to try to do it on the top as well, but I think the top was fine. So. And I'm going to use this little printable arrow. It says love you on it, or heart you. And it has the teal. It's a teal color. I don't end up using it there. I think I put it right there. And I'm using these white hearts from one of my Freckled Fawn kits. They're just like metal hearts. And I only had 2 left in the package, so I used up that package completely. And let's see, what else am I doing here? Probably watching the leftovers still. Watching more leftovers. I talked about that in my last process video about that show because I had just started watching it. I'm all caught up now, but yeah, it's really good. So here's where I decide to go ahead and layer these two. I kind of fuss with it. I'm trying to think about how I can make the teal arrow work without it just like being lifted off the page randomly. So I'm cutting up a foam square here to use, and I'm only putting it on the part that's going to be on the journaling spot. So that way I can put it there, but it's not popping up the entire thing. It only pops up the small part. I'm sorry, not the small part, but the end part there, where it was kind of hanging out in the middle of nowhere. And I'm going to do my journaling on that card there and just talk about how Layla was not impressed with the, oh, I needed a new Sharpie because the one I had was just running out. Just grab a new one. How she just was not a fan of the hibachi, which is funny because that was the second time we had taken her, and the first time she loved it, but then this time she was like not having it. So I don't know. We still enjoyed our food. I'm going to use my glossy accents to get these hearts down, and the back of them are metal. They're flat metal, so I really have to make sure that I hold those down long enough to make sure they stay stuck so they don't go flying off. And I'm going to go ahead and get my title down there. And I wanted to make sure that speech bubble, the tail end of that speech bubble showed, so I started lining it up kind of in the middle. And I'm going to use some mist, and my camera shuts off. But that's the only other thing I do is I mist using Heidi Swap Color Shine in Primrose, and I believe in a teal color. And that's the layout. Hope you enjoyed it. See you soon. Bye.